Hello, welcome to the In the Yard podcast, episode 2.
Yes, sir.
On this Monday night, President's Day, happy President's Day. I hope everyone enjoyed the long weekend. And tonight, Braeden and I are going to be discussing a little bit of quarterback free agency and then the top QBs heading into the 2023 season. So, Braeden, how's it going? How was your weekend?
It was good. Nice long weekend. Good to have a little refresh. And the best part is you only have to work 4 days this week. Then you get another weekend.
Yeah, sounds good. I actually watched I'd watched Top Gun Maverick for the first time.
Ooh,
this weekend.
That's I'm not even gonna lie to you, that's probably the best movie I've seen the past 3 years. The cinematography is insane. Come on.
Yeah.
The cinematography in that is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise kills it. Miles Teller's fantastic in it.
Yeah, definitely a fun one. And I don't want to put any spoilers on here in case anyone's not seen it yet.
But yeah, definitely a fun one. Before you start, have you watched The Last of Us at all?
The Last of Us? No, I heard it's really good.
It's so good. I've been watching it with my girlfriend. It's crazy.
Really?
Highly recommend. It's based off a video game. I played a video game.
Oh, it's based off the video game? It's not based off the movie Us?
No. It's completely different. No.
Gotcha. All right. Maybe I'll give it because Us scared me a little bit. And I thought The Last of Us was based off of it.
No. The Last of Us is more. It's like a post-apocalyptic world. It's really cool.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. Maybe I'll get into it. What's it on?
HBO Max.
All right. HBO Max.
Word.
Gotcha.
All right. So we're gonna talk sports here.
Yeah, we can talk sports. That's what we're here for, I guess.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about Aaron Rodgers and his free agency last episode. And then, like you said, today you heard that Packers want nothing to do with him anymore, and they're just over him. It sounds like disgusted by his behavior with the organization, which I feel like is justifiable. He's been playing mind games with them the past 3 seasons. I do think it's just time for them to move on from him and him to move on from them, even though as you were saying last episode, you really want it back. So maybe it's all clickbait. You never know. But yeah, as of right now, the reports are saying not looking good for Rodgers to come back to Green Bay in 2023.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, what I'm looking at here, I just pulled up the article. It says the Packers are reportedly, quote, disgusted with Aaron Rodgers. I didn't look at the whole article here, but then it says the Jets and Raiders have been rumored to be interested in acquiring Aaron Rodgers this offseason. And he started his 4-day, quote, darkness retreat last week to determine whether he would play again in 2023. So I would say last episode I said I wanted him back. I still want him back, obviously. He won 2 MVPs less than 3 years ago or 4 years ago, right?
2020 and 2021, I believe.
Yeah, and I even told you, I was like, I think the Packers will bring him back. We recorded last Friday. We're 48 or so hours later. I think he's gone. I think if this is true, which, you can't really, how many news articles can you really trust today? But I think reading this, I think he's gone. Just because I think if the Packers are done with him, they have Jordan Love, I guess you trade him and you get as much as you can for him now. The question is, where does he go? And what are you thinking there?
And then, like I said last episode, again, I'm thinking Raiders. I know that division is heavily stacked with the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chargers, but he'll be there to win. As a competitor, you think you can beat any team. That's just their mentality, and especially Aaron Rodgers' mentality.
Sure.
And then I don't want to get too much into it because we talk about it a lot episode, but do you have any optimism for the Packers with Jordan Love this season? What are your expectations now if Aaron Rodgers is gone?
Yeah, I mean, the games I don't know if it was multiple games. I know he got it in that game in Philly. He played well. I mean, he probably played better than anybody expected him to play in that situation. You know, they walked into Philly. It was Sunday Night Football. Rodgers gets hurt. It was like an oblique injury. I don't know if that's when he hurt his thumb too. But he walked into that game and played really well considering like the circumstances. You know, that was a good Philadelphia Eagles team. I mean, clearly they represented the NFC in the Super Bowl. And it was Sunday Night Football. You know, the whole world was watching. You know, I've got no reason to believe that like he can't be the guy right now. Mm-hmm. Do I foresee if Rodgers walks, and I guess he wouldn't walk, he'd be traded, and Jordan Love kind of debuted and became QB1 in Green Bay, would I really expect like immediate success? No. But you know, it depends really, you know, what kind of talent can you surround him with? Like what kind of line are you going to give him? What kind of weapons, you know, cuz he's playing, you know, Christian Watson, Tunyon, you know, I don't know if they're really enough. I think AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones in the backfield certainly is enough there, but then as far as you know, passing weapons, I don't know, but we'll see, you know.
Yeah, and again, there's Matt LaFleur, who's a young coach. Maybe he'll be more compatible with the young quarterback.
That's
like that.
That's very true.
We'll see.
What I don't think they should do is go and trade for a quarterback, because I heard stuff about them like trying to get Derek Carr. To me, that seems counterproductive. Like he probably would be better than Jordan Love to start, right? Right. But it's like then you're gonna have to pay Derek Carr, and at that point you could just throw Rodgers a ton. If you're gonna, you know what I mean?
Right. So speaking of Derek Carr, I guess he'll be our next topic.
Yeah.
So obviously the other day on Twitter, there's a picture of him and Robert Saleh of the New York Jets out to lunch. Does this mean anything, Braeden?
I think that means a lot. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, he's definitely going to the Jets, because, you know how the fans will get. They'll be like, oh, he's going to New York. He's going to be a Jet. We kind of talked about it prior, but I think it's going to be like a domino effect. Something's going to happen with Rodgers or Lamar or Jimmy G or Derek Carr, one of these quarterbacks, and it's just going to be a domino effect. One of them's going to sign somewhere, re-sign, whatever it may be, and it's going to be a domino effect, because obviously if you're the New York Jets right now, your two quarterbacks that you're going to try and get, and we're probably going to talk about Lamar, right, is you either want Rodgers or you want Lamar Jackson, because if you're going to dump a ton of money at a quarterback, you want one of those quarterbacks that you know can put you like in contention to be to win a Super Bowl, right? So I think if Rodgers stays in Green Bay, Derek Carr signs somewhere else or something like that, you know, that's when you're going to see the Jets go after like a Jimmy G. It's just going to take one domino. Like if tomorrow Derek Carr says, hey, I'm signing with the Carolina Panthers, hey, I'm signing in Seattle, who knows, just pick a team, right? Then you're going to see the Jets be like all in on Rodgers, right? Because you know, there's still a legitimate shot that the Green Bay Packers are like, or I should say Aaron Rodgers is like, hey, I want to play in Green Bay, or hey, I want to play in Tennessee, or Oakland, or Las Vegas. But you know what I mean? It's really just going to take one. You know, once one domino falls, you're going to see, I think, the rest fall with it.
Yeah, I also saw a report saying that the Jets are, you know, in a predicament between choosing Rodgers or Derek Carr. So that means like that could mean the Jets are trying to make a big decision here. But it also, you know, could be just New York media trying to stir stuff up. But anyway, when it comes to the Jets and between, if that is true that they're trying to choose between Rodgers or Carr, I think they should go with Derek Carr. He's younger. He'll last longer, and you won't deal with the drama of Aaron Rodgers. I know if they sign Rodgers, it'll be win now, right? But I feel like it's a big risk for them, and then they'll have to get another quarterback in 2 years anyway. So I just don't know if it'd be worth that big contract to sign like a 2 or 3 year deal with Rodgers, and then have to find a new quarterback after he's gone anyway.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you there, because, like, I think you're making all valid points. Like, obviously, Derek Carr, there's not as much drama because, as a Green Bay Packers fan, I know better than anybody that Rodgers brings, with the incredible talent, in my opinion, the greatest star of the football of all time. There's drama that he brings along with him. But if you're the New York Jets, right, you got a lot of young guys, you're going to have to pay them soon, right? It's kind of like a win or now situation, right? And I'm not saying Derek Carr can't be that guy, right? But if the Jets are like, listen, we want to win the Super Bowl in the next 2 years, you go with Rodgers. Because, maybe you disagree with me, but I would say Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to talk about our top quarterbacks, in a few minutes here, but even though Rodgers had a bad season, he won MVP 2 of the last 3 years. If you insert Aaron Rodgers on the New York Jets, they're going to contend with Cincy, the Chiefs, the Bengals, or the Bills. They're going to contend with all those teams. They're going to be right there immediately because you're putting someone in that division that, historically, 4 MVPs. He's only played in 1 Super Bowl, but it's at the end of the day, he's that dude. You know what I mean? They say, he's that guy. You go and you put him on the New York Jets, a better team, a good offense, a young team. I don't know. I think that you got to go with Rodgers if you're the Jets. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean I think that's going to happen. I think Derek Carr is going to end up there.
Okay.
Personally.
So you would think that they should go with Rodgers.
I think they should go with Rodgers, but I think that they should go with Rodgers, but I think they're going to end up with Carr.
Gotcha. And I think they should go with Carr, and I think they're going to end up with Carr at this point.
Okay, fair.
So, yeah. Valid points.
Okay, so let's shift gears.
Hopefully we'll find out within the next coming weeks. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, because he can sign any day now. He can sign pretty much any time now. Let's shift gears. Let's talk Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. What's going on there? What are you thinking?
I can't see him leaving Baltimore, and I can't see Baltimore parting ways with him. I just feel like they need each other because, one, the Ravens have built their whole offensive scheme around Lamar Jackson and the option and the triple option.
They literally have to blow it up. They would literally have to blow the whole up.
So I feel like, Tyler Huntley is a decent replacement if they were to part ways with Lamar, but he's not your long-term guy, so that means you have to find a whole other quarterback, and then you have to build up your whole system around him. So I think the Ravens don't have a choice but to try to re-sign Lamar. But does that mean Lamar wants to stay? We'll see. And he's really tough to gauge right now. I feel like he's one of the tougher ones as to.
He's hard to read too. You have no idea what he's thinking.
Exactly.
Rodgers will kind of give you bits and pieces here.
Right.
But Lamar, you legitimately have no idea because to me, I look at him and I'm like, he's faithful to the city of Baltimore, right? Obviously, the Ravens would be crazy to not re-sign this guy because of his talent.
He's a former MVP.
Literally look at what Jalen Hurts did this year. That's basically Lamar and Jalen are essentially the same kind of quarterback, right? Jalen took him to a Super Bowl. Lamar has yet to do that, but he has won MVP. He won unanimous MVP, right?
I just know it was the 2019 season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won.
I think that's the year he absolutely balled out. And then
and that's what I'm saying. And literally, the way he plays football, if he stayed healthy all season, every season, he would be a top 3 MVP pick every year. He straight up would be. Just way.
That's the reason the Ravens are hesitant to pay him is because he can't stay on the field. Yeah. But I still think you just have to take that risk with him because he's just the guy, especially when he is on the field, obviously. He makes the offense 20 times better when he's out there. It's just a matter of if he could stay on the field. And I understand the predicament for the Ravens. You don't want a QB that will go down and halfway through the season, maybe into the playoffs like you saw this year, right? But I just feel like the Ravens don't have a choice but try to re-sign him. And I do think he's going to end up in Baltimore. I think he might be trying to play, we kind of saw with Aaron Judge and the Yankees during the regular season of last year, where he's, keeping it brief when when they try to talk contract extensions. I think it's going to be the same with Lamar. I think he's going to stay with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, and he, to some extent, he should play hardball because he should see what else is out there.
Yeah.
Like, he should see what other teams have, like, a legit interest in him. I know we've talked about the Jets potentially having interest. I've seen a lot about the Atlanta Falcons in recent days in Lamar. I don't, like, to me, like, it might be a good fit, but I don't know why he would, like, if he had to pick between Atlanta, the Jets, and Baltimore, it's like Baltimore, Jets, Atlanta's down.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? Like,
you would have Kyle Pitts to throw to, but
and it's
I mean, that's really it when you think of elite Falcons receivers. And then, you know, they went, what was their record last year? They were in the NFC South, one of the worst divisions, and they still, I think they came in fourth. I think they were behind the Panthers.
I think so too.
So yeah, I just don't. Like you said, I agree with you there. I think it'd be a decent fit for him, but I just don't think he'd. I don't think he'd win, and I don't think the Falcons should pay that kind of contract to him when they have a lot more things to worry about than. Obviously, a quarterback's a big part of the game, but I don't think they should. I don't think they should give him a big contract right now. I think they need to rebuild and think about their future a little more.
Yeah, I might throw you for a loop with this question, and this is kind of, you know, deviating away a little bit from Lamar, right? Because obviously, if we're going to talk about value added to a team, like, he's top 3 if he's healthy, regardless, right?
Right.
What about Justin Fields? If you're the Bears, you have the 1 pick. Not the same quarterback, but they play kind of well. I mean, we watched when Justin Fields played this year. He had like 3, 4, 5, 6 games where he like running the ball looked like spectacular. Like, I forget who he was playing. It may have even been Green Bay, but he had like one of the most insane runs I've ever seen by a quarterback or running back ever.
Right.
I'd have to find the clip. I forget who they were playing, but he had a tremendous run. So if you're Chicago, and I know this is deviating away a little bit, but I'm thinking because we talked about, you know, obviously Jalen Hurts and Lamar are same kind of quarterback, but what about Justin Fields? What do you do if you're Chicago? You have the 1 pick.
Yeah, I do not want to be the Chicago Bears right now with their QB situation. It's tough because you know how you have Justin Fields, who you can see bits and pieces of potential when he plays, but Justin Fields' highs are high and his lows are low. So I don't know if you want to take a chance on him as your future, maybe give him another year. But another thing is I think they draft like top 10, so maybe they'll draft a quarterback.
They have the first pick. They have the 1 pick.
Yeah, so do they go quarterback, first overall pick? Bryce Young, maybe?
Let me ask you something. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, I know this is crazy. Would you trade Lamar Jackson to Chicago for Justin Fields in that 1 pick? Because you wouldn't have to change your offense that much.
Yeah, that would be
because they play very similar, right? And if Lamar is like, I want out, like, I don't want to play in Baltimore, and Chicago says, come to the Windy City, we'll give you a fat paycheck. All Chicago would have to give up is Justin Fields, who they're not paying yet, and the 1 pick.
Mm-hmm. That would be.
Would you do that? Would you do that? Would you do? Obviously, the Bears probably would do that. Like, if you asked them right now, they would probably say yes, because it's like you're getting Lamar Jackson, you're getting when he's healthy, a top 5 quarterback easily in the NFL.
Right.
But if you're the Ravens, do you do that? Probably not.
Yeah, no,
Probably
I don't think you do it if you're the Ravens.
Unless he's like straight up like, I'm not playing for you.
Yeah.
Then you consider doing it.
Another thing is, I don't know, would they have to re-sign Lamar? Because he's a free agent now, so can they even trade him? So would they have to re-sign him and then trade him for the pick?
Yeah, maybe. I don't even know.
I'd
have to read up on it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why I'm a little skeptical about it. I don't know, because I don't think he's on the Ravens anymore. I think he's a free agent, unless they franchise tag him and then trade him. I think they could do that.
They could do that. That's definitely an option. They could give him the exclusive.
They could do
franchise,
that.
yeah.
So yeah, well, it would be interesting. I don't think it's going to happen. It would be very ambitious, though. I could see your thought process in that for sure.
Yeah. So just overall,
that's
if you're the Chicago Bears, next year QB1 is Justin Fields or no?
I think you stick with him.
I agree.
He has the arm.
Unless you can go and get a generational talent. Yeah. Unless Aaron Rodgers, which God forbid. Oops, I shouldn't curse. But God forbid, Aaron Rodgers says, "I want to be a Chicago Bear." Then you do it,
right?
Like easily, but.
Right. Yeah. I think he'll be
the guy there. You have to because they're terrible. It's like you can't even really know.
Bad. Like I don't know. They just
the team's bad.
He looks good and he looks bad. Like I think once he learns a little bit, he's still young. He's still like I think he's younger than Joe Burrow. Like I think he's like 24.
Yeah, I'm looking it up actually. He's 23.
Yeah, he's 23 years old. Come on,
yeah.
You have to stay with him.
You have to give him another year.
Yeah. So there you have it. Justin Fields is, I don't think he's the answer, but he could be like a Jimmy G or a Jared Goff, in that system.
Yeah.
And then then you saw you seen him play at Ohio State. He has an arm. He performs in big games. So yeah, I think you got to stick with him for at least another year, and then maybe by the time his rookie contract is up and you want to part ways, and go ahead.
Fair, that's fair.
So, but yeah, I do think you got to stick with Justin Fields, especially since the quarterback market now isn't great besides the free agents we were talking about before. But yeah, I just can't see them. I think you got to stay with Fields and Chicago there.
Yeah. Speaking of, you mentioned Jimmy G just real quick because I know we want to get to our top 10 quarterbacks here. Where's Jimmy G play next year?
I think Jimmy G.
Or you can give me a 2 or 3 that you think are likely options for him because it's going to be hard to say because, like I said, it's really going to be a domino effect. If Derek Carr says he's signing with the Jets tomorrow, then I could see a team like Tampa or something throwing.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G is staying with not staying. I think he's going to the Bucks or Raiders. I'm leaning on more Buccaneers. They have a solid receiving core. They have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, not in his prime, but still a solid receiver. A young receiver, Russell Gage. So I think the Bucs would be a good fit for him, and I think the Bucs should take their chance on Jimmy G. He's made it to a Super Bowl. And he made it to the NFC Championship in, what year was it? 2021, when they lost to the Rams, the stud Rams, and they were right in that game too.
And the thing is with Jimmy G is like he to me is like one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league because
I agree.
He's always been in a weird situation where like. He wasn't always a starter. Like, you never knew what the quarterback situation was.
He was never the one priority quarterback, and then the one quarterback goes down,
and
like
then
Tom Brady did. Or
think about the last time that he was, like, the priority QB1. What happened, right?
Took him. That was when he made to the NFC Championship, or that was when he made it to the Super Bowl.
That's when they made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and then 2 years
and
later,
they almost they almost won that game.
Right.
The Super Bowl against Kansas City. So to me, it's like, yeah, it could be the Kyle Shanahan offense. It probably is, right? But that does not to take anything away from him. So I think Tampa Bay is probably the best spot for him. But I agree with you. It's probably going to be Las Vegas or Tampa Bay. There might be a wild card in there. Maybe the Jets if Derek Carr says somewhere else or Aaron Rodgers does something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But shifting gears real quick because we don't have too much time left this episode. Let's talk about our top 10. Do we want to do top 10? Real quick.
No, we could do another meeting. I think we could stay on the topic of Jimmy G and then
Okay.
So yeah, back on the topic of Jimmy G, I also think that he's I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but going back to the topic of Jimmy G, you saw him fill in the shoes of Tom Brady. What was it, like 7 years ago in New England?
Yeah.
Can he do it again in Tampa Bay? We'll see. What do you think's happening with Jimmy G?
I think Tampa Bay is like, if I'm Jimmy G, you want to go to Tampa. And I know it's kind of a mess because, you don't really know, like, what's going on down there because, the weapons, like, you got Godwin, you got Evans, and then you got, like, Leonard Fournette. Like, so it's not like you don't have weapons. You know what I mean? Like, there is a team down there for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's so tough between them and Vegas. Like, to me, they're kind of comparable. Like, I think Tampa Bay's defense, when healthy, is probably better. Yeah, it's definitely better. So I think, like I said, it's really going to depend. It's going to take that first quarterback to say, hey, I'm signing here, and then you're going to see the dominoes fall.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see him in Tampa. Personally, I think Tampa would be really fun with Jimmy G. But I think that the Raiders will definitely have a say in that when it's all said and done because now they need to figure out the quarterback situation. I feel like a team like the Raiders might be in a good spot to go and draft someone, maybe, if they want to like trade up and get a quarterback in the draft, maybe. It's tough to say. A lot of these teams are in that weird gray area where it's like they might be a piece or two away from being like a legitimate contender. But at the same time, it's like you don't really know that for certain because you had a quarterback like Derek Carr in there, and that's not taking anything away from Derek Carr. But what do you think? Do you have any other thoughts on Jimmy G? Because I do have a question for you.
I know the coaching situation obviously isn't Kyle Shanahan over in Tampa Bay. They're obviously a little more defensive reliable. But yeah, I still think he'd fit their system. I think he'd be fine. I feel like he can be similar to what Brady was in when he won the Super Bowl with them in 2020. Well, the 2020 season, 2021 Super Bowl. I think he'd be something similar. Just get it out quick. Don't turn it over, and the defense will do the rest. Could be something 100%. Like that.
I agree.
There's no reason you can't go with Jimmy G there.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Did you have any the question?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. It might be a silly question, but I'm just curious to get your thoughts. I know we only got a few minutes here. On the topic of Baker Mayfield.
I thought about it today. I kind of forgot about him for a little bit, but
because it's like
still in the league.
He's certainly not going to start for the Rams next year, right? He might be the backup. That might not be a terrible gig for him, right? Because Matt Stafford is older, right? You don't know how many more years Matt Stafford wants to play. You don't know how many years you're going to get Matt Stafford where he's even healthy. So what do you think about Baker? I know we only got a few minutes here, but
I don't know. Maybe I feel like there's not a starting role for Baker, like you were saying, because obviously he had that starting role with the Panthers. They didn't work out. I can't see him going to the Falcons. He's not going to the Jets with their options. I can't see him going to the Raiders.
Let me throw a team out there for you. Seattle. Do you go with Geno Smith?
Yeah, you have to. He had a solid season this year. He brought him to the playoffs.
I agree. I agree. He was arguably for a lot of the season a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, wasn't this like his first true year as a starter in a while?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So like maybe he'll know the system a little better next year, and you still have Pete Carroll. I feel like the big thing with Pete Carroll is Pete Carroll learns the quarterback, and the quarterback learns from him. So I think that Geno Smith is going to stay with Seattle because not that he's great, but I just don't feel like they have many other options either. So I think Geno Smith is staying, and I think Baker is going to be a backup role somewhere, maybe with the Rams, because if Stafford goes down, he's getting a little old.
I think
he'd be a good
if you're
replacement
Baker,
for Stafford.
if
You saw it
you're
last year.
Baker, if you're Baker, the way I look at it is like, well, I'm gonna either go start for a terrible team, or I could be a backup on a team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, right? With an aging quarterback, right?
Right.
Because if Stafford, he got hurt this year. If he gets hurt again,
Right.
he's older. It's like if you're the Rams, you might just be like, listen, bud, like we
Baker
have to
will
go
have a
with you.
shot, yeah.
And he played. I don't know how well he played across the board, but he had that first game he debuted in with the Rams. He had the game-winning drive.
Mm-hmm.
So he can play. It's not to say that he can't play, but if you let him sit in that offense, kind of play the backup role for a year, maybe 2, could be definitely interesting.
Definitely an interesting free agency class this year for sure.
Definitely.
All right,
Across the board.
We're running down in a minute here, so we're going to wrap it up for this episode. So thank you everyone for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Thank you so
much. And we'll be posting again soon.
Yep, awesome. Have a great night, everybody.
In the yard. See ya, boys.